Hey Internet, this is Gunter with MiniMishaps Games, and today I'm going to be giving you an update on all the different terrain that I've been working on. Alright, we're back for another Tuesday Terrain and Treasure, and I am going to start working on my first diorama. So it's going to be a little bit bigger project, take probably a few videos, but these Terrain and Treasure Tuesday updates are going to be more like a progress update than an actual showcase of completed works. So you'll get to see some partially painted pieces and things that aren't done, and kind of see that growth over time. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to dig through a bunch of unpainted bits of terrain and decorations that will become eventually the tavern, ever important tavern. And the tavern, like I said, will take us a couple of videos to complete. Today we're going to be working a little bit on the floor as well as some of these decorating pieces. So I've got barrels, I've got kegs, benches, fireplaces, and so right now I'm just sort of rifling through, taking a couple of the stools and table and things out of we'll go through a few different boxes here. This one is mostly walls and ladders and railroad stuff, but it did have a couple of tables and barrels and things that I was going to use for that. I saw that one painted piece of mining equipment go flying by from a previous update. Alright, here's another box. This one's got my bars. So those, you need those for a bar, for a tavern. Don't need a Christmas lighter lantern. Here's some treasures and portals. There's another keg, and then I'll start grabbing out these crates, these boxes as well, because that'll be sort of what everything stands on in the back. I've got these lighting fixtures, another thing of wine bottles and some chairs. I don't know if I'll use the lighting fixtures. They're kind of, the braziers are sort of more for a dungeon than a tavern. So here is what I picked out for furniture. The thing on the right is actually Santa's sleigh that I repainted over, so it's no longer red and green. It's more like a bench that we use. Table and a couple of benches, and a round table and 4 chairs. The 2 bars, a couple of kegs, the crates, and the little treasure box in the back. So the first thing that we're going to do in this update is I'm going to do a wash on the floor. So I'm doing first in the dark red, and then I'll add dark green, and that will be kind of how you get that brown used cracked feel to the floor. And the brown pieces of unpainted terrain are from Terrain Crate, and the floors are from the Maki Castle that we did over here. And we actually had some requests for us to paint those pieces, and so this is kind of a step in that direction. But we're going to give you the layout here, put everything on the floor, and make sure there's room for our bartenders and our serving folks. Yep, a couple of patrons maybe. So those will probably also be a separate video or two where we'll get the patrons. But I'm getting these bottle caps lined up to get me ready to paint, because I'll take a piece of this double-sided tape and use it with the bottle caps, and that'll help me keep, on some of these smaller pieces of terrain, will help me keep my fingers clear of the paint so I don't leave big smudged empty blocks of terrain that didn't get the paint or have a big thumbprint on it or something. So then the terrain pieces will set right on there, and we'll get them all ready. So big and small, and then for the things that need all 3 dimensions, like the bars, they'll actually have to be painted twice. So you stick it to the pop cap on one side on the end and paint all the sides, wait for it to dry, and then you can stick it, because the second time it'll be less sticky. It won't pull the paint off of the first round of paint. Then you can paint the part that was against the pop cap. So I'm getting some table. Most of the wooden stuff, the barrels and the tables and benches, will get a light wood dousing in paint, and then I'll go back afterwards with the darker wash to get those boards to kind of stand out a little bit. So, and this is going to be a nicer tavern, so I don't need to go back and paint in anything or that looks like damage or make it look like it was abused. Although, in fairness, this tavern does get destroyed about twice a week in game. So this is the tavern in New Anfang, which is the starting town for all the D&D players and Pathfinder players and anybody else that comes into the Gather universe. And sometimes new players don't know their own strengths or their own abilities, or they don't play well with others, or they want to test the limits, especially when I'm a DM going into a group that has never met me before. If they're hiring me to come be their DM, sometimes new groups like to kind of find out how much the universe will punish them for engaging NPCs or murder hoboing, etc. So, but yeah, so a lot of brown in the tavern, and the patrons and employees will have to be the color that comes. And these spigots and kegs and things will get silver and gunmetal around the outsides. But that's essentially it. I might do something on the bar for the panels. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do for these bars, because they each have 4 panels. But alright, let's do the progress side next. For progress, these are the pieces that you just saw me painting. So obviously, I made a little progress on those. And this is that layout again, same thing, from sort of the angle that the players will have when they enter the tavern. And then a close-up of behind the bar on the one side, so you can see there's the kegs there, and the lockbox in the back. And then these are all the pieces that weren't related to the project that I've started on, and in various stages of priming and painting. The 4 on the left are regular terrain crate pieces, and the beehive on the right is actually a piece that broke from the dollar store that was in one of my plastic, how to use the 2-part plastic for remedies videos that we just had a little bit ago. And then I painted the plastic to actually be honey, to look like the honey is running out of the beehive. So that is Terrain Tuesday update, and we'll be back next Tuesday with more terrain. And watch for coming soon, that'll be our first music video, and it's a parody, but watch for that. And then on Friday we have our RPG once a month update for the miniatures and gaming and terrain and stuff related to the RPG side of things for our Friday Frylights. So if you want to support the channel, you can do that on Patreon or buy me a coffee, as well as like and subscribe and all the regular YouTube stuff. Everything is linked in the comments. Everything is linked in the description. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, Internet.